Oh man, this show is truly big out the quarterback, man, and y'all in tune. The QB Talk, the podcast. Get in where you fit in. And guess who we got on the set today? We got Anthony Rashad Ray, the founder of Dad Can We Talk. What's up, Ray?
What's going on, man?
Man, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to come drop some jewels and share your story with the people, man.
You already know, I'm always the question answer, so
that's real.
I'm ready to get to it.
Well, look, man, the only reason I say I'm going to put you in the hot seat is because I want people to hear your story because it's real, and I want them to be able to grab a little bit of motivation from your story. So let's get right into the interview because a lot of people is familiar with your movement, Dad, Can We Talk? But can you just tell them a little bit about it and what made you start it?
Well, originally, probably back in 2017, I was with my kids at the library and, I'm just watching them read their books. They're playing on the computers and I was using one of the computers at the library and, man, I'm just sitting there thinking, man, I need to do something for me. Like, what am I passionate about? And at the time, I was in ministry and my pastor had this dad group that he had started called Innovative Dads.
Okay.
Which it was cool for me, but I'm like, this ain't me though. Like, it ain't my vision. This is his thing.
Correct.
But I'm like, I got my own vision. And, I was an avid podcast listener. So I started listening to podcasts about 2016, 2017. And I was into true crime and all that, listening to serial killers and all that. Just crazy stuff, man. And then what I found is when I went into the family and parenting category, what I found was, I wanted to hear something about fatherhood. I'm like, want to hear some encouraging stuff from fathers.
Correct.
And when I looked into fatherhood, the fatherhood podcast category, what I saw was, bro, honestly, I don't think that was 2017. I didn't find not one black man hosting a podcast about fatherhood.
Right.
So there was a lot out there, a lot of podcasts about fatherhood, but most of them were white guys.
Correct.
And no disrespect to them, but
correct,
it wasn't speaking to me.
Right.
It ain't sound like me. It didn't look like me.
Right.
And so I said, if I was to listen to a podcast about fatherhood, what would I be looking for? And what would touch me and make relate to me? And I couldn't find that. So I told myself, shoot, man, I ran right into that lane. I already do this anyways. I already have conversations with dads on the side, through my church and, in the community where I'm going out and I'm ministering to people and I'm talking with people and we have real life conversations.
Right.
And if anybody know me personally, they know when you talk with me and you pull up at my crib, I pull up to your crib, I want to talk real life, bro. I'm talking nitty gritty. Like,
right.
Bro, what you got going on? Bro, how you be feeling when your kids do this, right? How you feel when you got this going on in your marriage?
Right.
And we having real life conversations. And so I was having that off camera. And I said, man, you know what if I was to bring people into my life and allow people to hear these conversations that I'm having with guys? Because everybody was praising me. Boy, you such a good dad. And I'm like, yeah, I'm cool.
Right.
But I know like 100 other good dads.
Right.
Just like me.
Right.
Other black dads out here standing up for their kids, just like I am.
Correct.
And so I filled that lane and I started, shout out to my man, Jerk Jerkins. Shout out to Big Jerk, man. Jerk gave me an opportunity at 90.1 FM.
Okay.
That same year. What I did was I wrote down this idea I came up with the name Dad Can We Talk, concept of it. I shared it with Jerk and Jerk was like, man, I'll let you come on the radio station. And, I give you airtime, free hour airtime every week.
Okay.
And bro looked out for me and we did that for a whole year. And coming into 2018, some stuff happened with that. And I was like, I don't really like the radio lane.
Right.
It's a little too political for me.
No doubt.
I can't really talk how I want to talk. People I want to interview, I can't really interview them like, it really wasn't my lane.
Right. It's red tape in the radio world.
Yeah. So I stopped that, and I honestly was discouraged after that. I was like, man, maybe God ain't tell me to do that. Honestly, I'm like, man, maybe God ain't tell me to do that. Maybe that was all he wanted me to do. Because some people was paying attention on the book. We was going live. But I kind of got discouraged. And from there, I got back in school in 2019. I'm like, man, let me go to school at least. Try to get me some paper up under my name. I was trying to progress and find myself. Because I felt like I had been up under my pastor for so long. And I felt like I was only doing stuff that he was telling me to do.
Okay.
In all honesty.
Right.
And I'm like, I had started to break out of that. And I'm like, what is God telling me?
Okay.
For my life.
Right.
What vision has he given me? What lane should I be running?
Okay.
And once I found that lane, ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing different. And that's what I did, man. In 2020, in one of my classes when I got in school, they taught me how to make a logo.
Okay.
And boy, when I seen that, I said, oh, so that's how easy it is?
Right.
I said, damn, I can make that little podcast I be thinking about, I can make a logo for that. And you see it right here on my shirt. That's what I did. I created me a logo. I shared it with, a couple friends. They like, well, that's fire.
Right.
Man, when you gonna make some shirts? I'm like, bro, I mean, this just a little idea or whatever.
Right.
They like, man, bro, if you make the shirts, I'll buy them.
There you go. There go your support. Right there.
Right. And so shout out to my man Adolph Means. I was talking with one of my mentors, AD. Shout out to my cousin Tasha too, Tasha husband.
Right. There it is.
And,
right.
Yeah, I was telling him about the idea, and he was like, man, listen, bro, you always tell me about this podcast.
Right.
But you ain't did nothing with it yet.
Okay.
And
Accountability.
so I said, you know what? Give me a time and date. You'll be my first guest.
Right.
Episode 1, you will see that was soon. Adolph Means, one of my mentors. He was the person that kind of pushed me out there and encouraged me to go forward with it. And that was February 7th, if I ain't mistaken. February 7th, 2020.
Right.
And I ain't stopped since. That was episode 1, and what I'm about to be on episode 116 this weekend.
Okay. So now, it's 3 things that you said that I'm going to get back to, but this is the purpose of this podcast. So at one time, you didn't have it all figured out.
Not at all.
But you still started. All right. I need y'all to stay tuned on that because we're going to come back to that real quick. This is the second thing that I just got to touch on. You have a lot of guests, a lot of people we know, a lot of people from the community, the whole nine, and everybody's important. But you've been able to get some A-listers that's in Hollywood right now, right, to be on your show.
Real talk.
Give me about 3 names just real quick that the people would know.
I would say my biggest one was Tay Diggs.
Come on, man.
Actor Tay Diggs. I had Rob Hardy. He's a producer, director for some of your biggest TV shows, movies like Power, ER.
Right.
I think he did Drumline. Or no, not Drumline, but the other one where they be dancing. Stump the Yard.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, he
for
had that. Rob Hardy, and then what people don't know, I had Slick Puller on.
Come on, man.
Slick Puller changed his name. Slick Puller, he on the Hebrew Israelite stuff now.
Right. And exercising, like he a trainer.
Yeah, on that now. And I reached out to bro on IG, and he wrote me back within 5 minutes. I just wrote him like, hey, bro, I've been listening to your music since I was a jit, and I be on that Hebrew stuff too.
Right.
I'm on my little journey.
Right.
So I love to sit down with you one day and talk family and fatherhood. And that man wrote me back 5 minutes to say, bro, give me a time.
Right.
We set something up. I think bro was like episode 44 or something like that. But nobody ain't really pay attention like that because, for one, he got a different name or whatever. I think his name like Uziel or something like that.
Correct.
But bro was cool, man. He gave me a good little 30, 40 minutes.
Right.
And then I also had Ron Days. He's the dad on the show from way back in the days called Gullah Gullah Island.
Right.
That people might not remember, but I think it was on like Nickelodeon back in the days.
Right.
I had the dad from that show on the podcast. My wife went to school with his son in South Carolina. And one day she was like, why don't you get Mr. Ron on? I'm like, who is Mr. Ron?
See?
And she told me, and I said, man, you playing, bro. Bring me in.
Right.
And she hit dude up, hit the son up, And he got me that interview the next week.
Okay.
And he was very knowledgeable, man. He dropped some gems on me.
Okay. So now we going to get back to that. I hope y'all listening. He had access, close proximity,
Yep.
that you didn't even know you had.
All right.
So had you not started on your journey, if you'd have still been sitting around trying to figure everything out, you wouldn't have got none of these people.
No, sir.
The last thing I want to touch on before I get to your last two questions is this. You, on faith, hit everybody up, and all you did was ask and request.
All right.
Correct?
Yep.
And that is what the words say. You're supposed to ask for what you want.
Funny thing about it, I'm going to tell you this. Now, I hit up Slick and I hit Ron Days up. Them other two, bro, they came to me.
Okay.
In all honesty. Boy, Tay Diggs and Rob Party, they both wrote me, had their managers email me. And I'm thinking it's some spam type stuff. Like,
there you go.
What these folks writing me for? What I look like? Bro, this Dad, can we talk? You call me Gainesville, Florida. You know, that's how I'm looking at myself.
Right.
Like, why these folks reaching out to me? And man, it happened like that. And I done reached out to hundreds of celebrities. I'm talking about, boy, if I go down, you go on my IG and look at my inbox.
Right.
Boys, blue checks everywhere. You hear me?
Right.
You know, I'm writing LeBron James, Steph Curry. Ain't nobody writing me back.
Right.
Hey, I'm shooting my shot. You know, and ain't nobody writing me back. But, you know, when Tay Diggs and Rob Hardy came around, I'm like, I was almost shocked. Like, I ain't write these people.
But what's for you is for you.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I'm trying to get out to the people, and especially to us entrepreneurs. I want them to be active. I want them to be aggressive in their pursuit. I don't want them to just have an idea. You see what I'm saying? Because one of the reasons why I think everybody should have played sports, you know, in Little League, because then they would understand game plans. But let me get to this last thing. I think you still missed a guest that I wanted you to speak on, but let me say this. Did you interview Will Packard?
No, so Rob Hardy and Will Packard, they're business partners.
Okay.
They're the ones, they started their own production company. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Rainforest Films or Rainforest Productions. Will Packard went more of the movie route. Rob Hardy went more TV route. So that's probably what you were thinking about.
Okay. So watch this. Let me speak life on this podcast. All you got to do is continue and keep going, because indirectly, you've already had your show identified. It's people that would die just to have them to know that they exist. So this is the last thing that I want to get into. And this is the real purpose of my podcast, outside of making sure that people like yourself's story gets heard. Because through your story and through your journey, we can encourage someone else. So you didn't know how big this could be. Right now, you're at 100 and how many episodes?
I think I'm on 115 or 116 this weekend.
Okay. So here's my thing. And if you could just touch on this briefly, and it's not for me per se, but it's for the person in the audience that's listening, to help them get off the couch and just pursue their journey as well. When you are running your family, working a real job,
All
right? And still funding was pretty much your dream, but that's what your pursuit is, right? Did you have days that you wanted to quit?
Boy, y'all don't even want to know.
Okay.
Listen, you don't even want to know. You know, as I started from ground up, and I done all this, did my own artwork. I edit my own stuff. I did my own, set up all my little distribution stuff for the podcast. You know, I did literally all this was just off my own strength while working full time, going to school full time, got 3 kids, a wife, you know.
Right.
And all 4 of them want their time.
Okay, hold on. Let me catch a time out right there. And this is something that I want all entrepreneurs to understand. No matter how strong your pursuit is and how much ambition you have, if you have a family or a significant other, they are all competing for your time And they do not understand what you going through on a daily basis. All they know is the kid saying, hold up, you my daddy. All right. That's cool what you're doing, but you my daddy. Spouse, your spouse could love you to death. We'll talk about that on another show. But at the end of the day, sometimes they don't see it until the end result. And so in closing, what I'd like to say to you is there anything just in your own words that you would tell someone that's in the audience, someone that's listening to this podcast that's thinking about starting and every year they push it back? Is it something that you could tell them in your own words that probably could help them?
What I would say is don't hesitate. Don't doubt yourself. Get out and just do it. Write down your plans, write out your vision, what you want to do, and go for it. When you first start, it might not be the best thing smoking. It might not be the greatest thing anyone ever heard.
Right.
If you go back to my episode 1, the first 10 episodes was rough. Very rough. Very, very, very rough. But as time progressed, I had people see what I was doing and they began to sew. The camera that I use, somebody bought that for me.
Okay.
The microphones that I got right now, my wireless mics, somebody bought them for me.
Okay.
I had all type of equipment that people just give to me. I had somebody give me a green screen like a month ago. They was like, hey, listen, I got this. You can have it. This ain't stuff. I ain't no rich person. Well, I work at Walmart warehouse, bringing my back every weekend.
Every week, yeah.
You hear me? So, I'm out here trying to get it, make sure the bills paid, make sure my kids got stuff for school, make sure, they got what they got. But I never allowed what I didn't have to stop me.
Hey,
I continue to keep it pushing.
Hold up. That's some bars. Give me that one more time, man. Give me that.
I never allowed what I didn't have to stop me from what I knew where I wanted to go. And so, people look at what I'm doing right now, and I never allowed the support that wasn't there to stop me either, because there was people right here in this city know what I was doing. I've been doing this stuff on 3.5 years now.
Right.
And it's people right now like, bro, I didn't know you had a podcast. Come on, cuz.
Right.
I know you seen me posting, but when I got Tay Diggs on, everybody like, bro, I love what you're doing. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I've been doing this.
Right.
This ain't nothing new. It took for Tay Diggs to recognize what I was doing for everybody else to start recognizing it. People right here in my city ain't even recognizing it, but I ain't gonna let that stop me. Right. I gotta keep going, because at the end of the day, this ain't for people. I'm just putting dads on. I'm trying to highlight black dads. In general, I want to highlight black dads and show people that all black dads ain't deadbeats.
Okay.
We're not whatever you want to call, let's say we absent and all this. Right. All of us, that's not all of our story. And especially in my generation, a lot of us grew up fatherless. So now we taking care of our business the way that we supposed to. And I get the praise all the time. But I say, I'm going to bring my dogs on and all these other guys that I know, because they need to get the praise too.
Okay.
Because there's some guys in positions, worse positions than what I'm in.
Okay.
And they still out here doing it.
Well, look, that's everything that you said is what I wanted the people to hear. And I appreciate you, 1, being transparent. I appreciate you, 2, letting people know your story. And with the mission of QB Talk, the podcast, and the reason why I say get in where you fit in is because I only want a person to be who they are. I don't want them to come on this show and be somebody else. Sure. And like the conversation that we were having right before we started filming and taping, it's like this. I'm all about speaking life. Mm-hmm. This podcast will drop jewels. It will help people, and it will start to find the like-minded people. You shedding light on the cause, I'm shedding light on the entrepreneurs. So for this episode of QB Talk, the podcast, I appreciate you for coming on. You always welcome, and let's get it.
I'm going to say one more thing.
Get it to him.
I'm going to give you a shout out because you was there from the beginning. If anybody listen to the podcast right now and you hear that intro song, this man right here on the mic on the other side, he on that Cam in talk to me. Hey, yeah. So see, that's him on the intro, and he did that off love, right? From the beginning. I think I got that like episode 6 from you,
right? Because again, and there's something that you said, and I'm gonna highlight this on every episode that we do, when you just start, I believe the help will come. It just won't come from where you're expecting it to come from.
Real talk.
And the last thing I got to say, and I got to say this here, you just gave flowers to everyone that sold into you. And I know for a fact that you paid it forward, because it's a lot of things that you do in the community that don't show up on the chart.
Real talk. So
I respect that. And that's what QB Talk, the podcast, is all about.